Hello, I am Michael Philpott and I'm the Research Director for Omnia's Consumer Service Provider teams. For a majority of us, broadband access has now become an essential service to everyday life. However, one thing COVID-19 has taught us is that with broadband, it's not just a matter of being connected, because if that connection is of poor quality, then you will also be limited to what you're able to use that connection for. In order to maximise the benefits of broadband for all, therefore, it is essential that we as an industry continue to invest in broadband infrastructure so that all countries move towards gigabit societies. Utilising Omdia research, together with some early findings from the new World Broadband Association survey of operators and enterprises, this presentation highlights the needs for and importance of this continued investment, together with a view of key areas where service providers need most help in order to stimulate further deployment of advanced broadband technology. During the COVID-19 pandemic, we witnessed a rapid acceleration in a number of online trends. Many of these will not revert to their pre-pandemic levels, and it's going to be interesting to observe how that impacts society in the longer term. Of course, with any change in behaviour, there are always positives and negatives, as well as winners and losers. But certainly from a consumer point of view, there are some significant benefits, some of which we're already starting to see materialise from these changes. Just one example is the rapid increase in people working from home due to lockdowns. As we start to emerge from the crisis, large swathes of the population are now not expecting to return to the office, at least on a full-time basis. In the UK, surveys suggest this could be as high as 70% of the working population. This change in the working pattern brings benefits such as spending less time in the daily commute, allowing us greater freedom where we choose to live, and a greater work-life balance that helps with issues such as childcare. Other examples would include new cloud-based video applications around entertainment, education, and healthcare. Naturally, businesses have had to also rapidly adapt to these changes. Faced with the challenges of COVID-19, the demand for broadband connectivity and bandwidth within businesses has increased significantly and is expected to continue to rise. Both enterprises and broader industry ecosystems are actively looking at broadband's role in enabling digital transformation to battle the tide of uncertainty today. The new World Broadband Association survey shows that 56% of businesses respondents stated that they need faster and more reliable internet to run their business applications. The ability to create meaningful customer experiences will also hinge largely on connectivity, and 56% of survey respondents also indicated that they need faster and more reliable internet to meet their customer experiences and also to remain competitive. As I mentioned earlier, with change there's always winners and losers, but overall the move to greater digitization at a country level is a positive one, as it has been proven that increasing broadband penetration increases business innovation and drives both GDP and labour productivity, not to mention all those social benefits that I discussed earlier. Due to the pandemic, therefore, there is now fresh and I would say a stronger spotlight back on the topic of the digital divide. Whenever we talk about the digital divide, we always explore charts such as this, which show a relatively optimistic picture with the connected population increasing from approximately 50% in 2019 to 70% in 2026. The rest of the conversation is then normally focused on how we connect the remaining people, and that is understandable given all the benefits that broadband brings. However, what is less discussed but is of equally importance is what makes up that line: how are people being connected? Because as mentioned before, with broadband, quality is very important. For example, the EIB calculates that for every doubling of broadband speed, then GDP will grow by a further 0.3%. Moving forward, therefore, when talking about the digital divide, we should really analyse this more detailed chart that shows not just the unconnected population, but how the connected population are being connected, whether they are mobile only or also have access to fixed broadband services, and if so, by what speed. By viewing the world through this lens, we can actually see that the digital divide isn't shrinking at all, but if anything is getting wider. For example, by 2026, there will be more people in North America connected to gigabit broadband services than the whole of the fixed broadband population of Africa. If we wish, therefore, for every member of our society to have the same opportunity, then it is vital that all countries move towards 100% gigabit societies. Of course, broadband quality is not just about speed. There are a number of characteristics that make up a good quality connection. Speed is one of them, but of equal, if not greater importance, are reliability and service consistency, as well as other network metrics such as low latency and jitter. This is where investment in optical fiber broadband networks come in, as they provide improved and more consistent results across all these metrics. The move to fiber also provides the service provider with a number of benefits, all of which need to be taken into account when developing fiber to the premise business models. For one, the move to an optimum quality broadband service can drive higher consumer ARPUs, as although consumers don't generally pay just for speed, they do value and will pay extra for overall superior quality. Now, such increases are often only small, but due to the scale of the broadband market, just a small increase in ARPU can have significant impact on revenues. For example, an increase in the global ARPU of only 5%, which is just $1, would be equal to the telco portion of service revenue from smart home and digital music. An increase of 20%, or approximately $5, and you can add in the telco portion of digital video and gaming too. As well as the opportunity to grow revenues, we know that a higher quality broadband service is also sticky, helping therefore to increase net promoter scores and reduce customer churn. And finally, due to the reduced amount of active equipment in the field for much higher bandwidths, operational and maintenance costs are reduced, as well as energy consumption, helping to aid towards the service provider's green agendas. It's important, however, for governments to recognise that the benefits of moving to gigabit speed, fibre-based broadband networks are not purely confined to the end users and their service providers. A number of metrics that we've already talked about, such as increasing overall productivity, innovation and competitiveness, will help drive countries' wealth. As we've discussed, there are a number of social benefits too, including helping level up certain areas of the country. In a recent survey of UK estate agents, for example, Omdia found that if the government was to invest in gigabit broadband service to every home, 70% of agents stated that it would boost or significantly boost demand for housing in their area. Being more energy efficient than copper-based technologies, migration to national fibre-based networks will therefore help reduce a country's carbon footprint, a topic that is now high on the political agenda in many countries. Due to the importance of fibre development, 2 years ago, Omdia developed a Fibre Development Index that monitors and benchmarks the fibre investment in not just the access, but also the core and backhaul networks across more than 80 countries. The top table in this slide shows just the high-level averages for each of the metrics across all the countries. And although there are some very advanced fibre countries in this index, the average global picture shows that it's still some way off in terms of achieving the goal of fibre-based gigabit societies. The forecast chart shown below the table illustrates that based on existing initiatives, on a global level, fibre will continue to be rolled out, reaching 40% of household penetration by 2026, far ahead of other types of broadband technology. However, we can also see that the gap between the total broadband penetration and the fibre penetration is actually only narrowing very slightly. To accelerate closing this gap, therefore, it is clear that network operators will need further help. Given the significant benefits of both customers and countries as a whole, this help should be something that government and other organisations should be looking to prioritise. Often, it is assumed that by help, the industry really means financial support. And certainly, as illustrated in the chart on the left, the cost of fibre deployment is certainly the number one issue for service providers. However, in terms of the most important regulatory intervention, providing financial support is actually down in 5th place, according to the World Broadband Association survey. What actually comes out on top is a reduction in the regulatory barriers by removing outdated or non-essential regulations, followed by greater flexibility in partnership arrangements, such as allowing co-financing or other collaborative models. This shows there is a range of actions that government organisations can put in place that will help generate greater broadband investment with public financing only one of the list of the possible options. So that concludes my presentation today, and I'd like to thank you for your time and attention. Before I hand over to the next speaker, I would just like to announce to members that the full thought leadership paper, including the full results of the survey of the global operators and enterprises, will be out in the first quarter of 2022. Thank you.